Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr Chairman, I'm only going to take a very brief call to respond to two of the points that have been made by Charles Chauvel. The first of those is a point that's also been made by the Green Party. Why don't you put a specific environmental protection function into all the decisions that the RMA make, all the decisions that the EPA makes? A very simple answer to that is this. Yeah, but let's just test what would that achieve the objective? Does the RMA, I put to members of the opposition, protect the environment? Yes, it does. Does the Ozone Protection Act protect the environment? Of course it does. Does the Hazardous Substances in the Organisms Act protect the environment? Of course it does. So the question I've got for Steve Chadwick that's intervened is, well, if you have a different set of objective in this Act to when it comes along to performance its function in those Acts, you just end up with a legal mess. And if that wants to be the sort of legislation that Labor wants to create, well, it'd be pretty typical of what they did. But that's not where the government stands. And that's why that is not a sensible proposition. Can I take the second approach, and that is with respect to the exclusive economic zone? And Charles Chauvel has tabled an amendment. Well, I've got a simple question for him. It is this. Do we really think that the marine environment would be better managed? Let me tell you what it would do. Who's responsible for managing the fish if you say it's the role of the EPA to manage the exclusive economic zone? Because all it says is to carry out all environmental functions in the exclusive economic zone. What a mess. You've got the Environmental Protection Authority and the Ministry of Fisheries under a whole number of acts with functions. What about marine mammals? They are the responsibility of DOC. So what's the Labor Party saying about DOC's role in protecting those marine mammals? The reality is that if this House votes for the amendment that's been put forward by Charles Chauvel, is that we are going to end up with an awful mess of neither the EPA or the Department of Conservation or the Ministry of Fisheries. Well, Steve Chadwick says that somehow this is not. It's very clear. This legislation sets out the functions very clearly between those, and if you vote for this amendment, I've got a simple question for her. Who is going to be responsible for fisheries if we vote for Charles Chauvel's amendment? There's silence. They've got no idea. It's not properly thought through, and that is why National will not be supporting those sorts of amendments that are nothing more than political grandstanding. We're going to do the hard yards to come up with really good legislation that will properly protect the exclusive economic zone and provide the sort of environmental framework that this country deserves. Absolutely.